In Activity 9, The Phases of the Moon, students discover that there is a regular pattern to the changes in the moon's apparent shape. Students first review the drawings in their moon journal, then recognize the possible shapes the moon can have, and finally create a moon phase flipbook. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 9, set of moon phase cards, and the moon phase flipbook sheets. You will also need to provide yellow crayons, moon journals from Activity 4, pairs of scissors, and a heavy-duty stapler. To prepare for Session 1, make a copy of Activity Sheet 9 for each student. Begin this activity after completing Session 3 of Activity 4. By this time, students will have recorded 4 weeks of moon observations and have drawings of one complete lunar cycle, from new moon to full moon and back to new moon. Make sure that the class record of moon phases is complete. Each student will need his or her moon journal from Activity 4 and a yellow crayon. You will need one set of moon phase cards. To begin Session 1, have students examine the class record of the phases of the moon and their own moon journals. Ask them if all of the drawings are the same. They should observe that they are not. Line up the moon phase cards in order and tell students that these 5 cards show the 5 basic shapes or phases of the moon. Point out the card showing the fully illuminated disk. Ask students, does anyone know what the moon is called when it is fully lit like this? Many students will be familiar with the term full moon. Explain that a full moon is the phase in which all of the sunlit side of the moon is visible from Earth. Next, point out the card showing only the trace outline of the moon. Inform students that this is called a new moon when no part of it is lit. Have students compare the different shapes and ask, how is a new moon different from a full moon? Students should now know that you cannot see a new moon, while a full moon is big and round. Have students label the new and full moons. Label the class record too. Point out to students that the pictures in the first half of their journals appear in the same order as the cards at the front of the room. Ask the class, how does the moon's appearance change as it moves from a new to a full moon? They should see that more and more of it is lit up. Then ask, what happens to the moon after it is full? Students should respond that the moon slowly becomes less and less lit up. They may have noticed that the shape of the waning moon is reversed in relation to the shape of the waxing moon. Have a student rearrange the moon phase cards so that they show the order of the phases from full back to new moon again. Then ask students to compare the size of the moon as it changes from a full moon back to a new moon again. Ask students, does more of the moon become lit up or less? Help students to choose the drawings in their moon journals that most resemble each of the waning phases. Explain that each phase of the moon lasts a few days and gradually turns into the next phase. After about a month, the moon's phases have gone from new moon to full moon and back to new moon again. Distribute a copy of Activity Sheet 9 and a yellow crayon to each student and have them complete the sheet. To prepare for Session 2, make a copy of the moon phase flipbook sheets for each student. Each student will also need a pair of scissors, and you will need the set of moon phase cards and a heavy-duty stapler. To begin Session 2, explain that a flipbook is a booklet of pictures arranged in order so that if you flip through the pages very quickly, it appears as though the object in the pictures is moving. Demonstrate the concept of fanning using the pages of a small book. Using the moon phase cards, review the phases of the moon. Distribute the moon phase flipbook pages and a pair of scissors to each student and instruct them to cut out the strips along the lines. Have students stack the strips in numerical order, with 1 on the top and 29 on the bottom of the stack. Help each student complete his or her flipbook by stapling the left-hand sides together. Using a student's book, demonstrate how to operate the completed flipbook. After students have had an opportunity to play with their books, lead a discussion by asking, how do the pages of the flipbook compare with your actual moon observations? If assembled properly, the flipbook should model the phases of the moon observed by students over the past month. Finally, ask students to recall the models of the moon they made in Activity 2, remembering that the moon is shaped like a ball. Ask students, if the moon is shaped like a ball, why doesn't it always look round in the sky? Students may guess that it has something to do with how much sunlight is hitting it. Accept all answers and tell students they will find out why in the next activity. To conclude the activity, collect the scissors and return the moon phase cards to the kit. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.